term. So this is 3A03. Today we're going to go through our course outline. Then we're going to look into the introduction to buckling, and I will also integrate elastic curve analysis to determine deflection in this lecture. Okay, so we have quite a bit to cover. So our lectures are on Thursdays, and we start at 7, and we will go up to 10. And then I propose that we have a break at 8:45. Okay, so we go for 1 hour, 45 minutes. We go for a break at 8:45. The break will be for 10 minutes. And then we come back, we go up to 10. Then on Friday, we have from 7 and we go up to 8 p.m. Okay, so for this case, sometimes it can be synchronous or asynchronous. I might get you to watch a video, or I will do like what I'm doing now, like live. Okay, so either way. Okay, so I will tell you now, this coming Friday you'll be synchronous, so I'll be online and I'll be teaching you guys live. Okay, so the good thing about live is you have question, I will respond rather than a one-way communication. Right, so before we go any further, I would like to go into the course outline. Okay, so if you can go into Avenue to Learn. As you can see now. So if you go into 3A, okay. So if you look at the welcome, the dates for the term test is already been set. So term test 1 is on 6th of June, and it will be in person. And the location is in Birdside Building 106. We'll start at 6:30 p.m. and we'll end at 9 p.m., 2.5 hours. Term test 2 will be on 4th of July. Also on a Friday, it will start at 6:30 and end at 9. And location is Birdside Building again, same room 106. Exam, take this note, okay? It will be August the 7th, which will be a Thursday. Again in person, the time to 6:30 to 9. And it's in Birdside Building, room 106. The teaching assistant, we only have one this term, is Mr. Alex McCafferty Reynolds. Okay, so he's the only TA that we have for this term. Okay. Any students, any questions regarding the term test? You can type on the chat because I can view the chat also, or you can just speak to me if you have questions. Okay. Okay, seeing there's none. So if you go to the content, okay, if you go into the welcome module, the course outline is there. I'll go into the course outline. Okay, before we go there, I usually will post week 1 examples. So if you click onto it, okay, these are the figures or question or tables that I'll be using for this week's lecture. Okay, so go into Avenue. Okay, make sure you can access them. Okay, so I'll take questions from here always. Okay, back to the table of content. let's look at the course outline. So let me bring this down. Okay. So this is the spring summer term. We are going to do this for I think we have 14 weeks. Okay. The last week will be your exam. So exam, as you know, will be on 7th of August. 48 hours, hopefully we can just contact hours of 48 hours, okay? And also in person, because you have 2 term tests and 1 final exam. Textbook is Mechanics of Material, Beer and Johnson. Okay. Let's look at course specific policy. The term test and final exam are in person and they are closed book, and I will provide you with formula sheet. As mentioned earlier, the term test and final exam will be in person. Absent from a term test or exam without submitting an MSAF will result to a grade of 0 in the test or exam. Missed term tests as missed midterm exams or term tests with a MSAF will have their weight shifted to the final exam, okay, at the discretion of the instructor. So just to give you the average of term test 1 last term. So term test 1, I'll write this down. So I think so last term, term test 1, the average was if my memory don't fail me, is about a 68 for last term, okay? And term test 2, the average was a 74, and the exam, I need to calculate this. The average is 53%. Okay. So as you can see, term test 1 and 2 are easier. Term test, the final exam, you have more stuff to remember. Okay, so whatever that have been taught throughout the whole term, in the exam, there will be no I don't test you. The only topic that I don't test it, I will not test you, no buckling. Okay, the rest of the topic are in the exam. Okay, so it's a bit overwhelming. So my piece of advice is don't miss any of your term. Don't miss any of your assessment. Okay, I mean take your term test seriously. Okay, don't miss any of them. If you miss, it brings to the final exam. Okay, and you can see the exam, the average is lower than expected. Okay, which is what you don't want to do. Okay. Back to our course outline. Any questions so far from anyone? Okay. If there is, give me a shout. Is teaching online is different. I don't see you face to face. And you can, as I say, you can type in the chat. Okay, I will just take time to read. Okay, I don't hear anything. So these are the topics that we're going to cover. Okay. Muhammad, hold on. Yeah, hold on. I'll talk about what's going to happen in the homework. Okay. So week 1, we have centric buckling and lug stick curve. Week 2, extended Euler. Week 3, eccentric buckling. Week 4, 2D mold circle. Week 5, 3D mold circle with symmetric bending. Then you have test 1 on February the 6th. Then we go to week 6 with normal stresses generated by axial load bending moment. Week 7, shearing stress for non-thin wall. Week 8, shearing stress for non-thin wall. Week and composite material. Week 9 will be shearing stress for thin wall and longitudinal shear. And then we have test 2 on July the 4th. Then week 10, combined loading, yield criteria. 11, week 12, design and beams for bending. And week 13, integrated of combined analysis with 3D mold circle and yield criteria. Week 14 basically is your exam. Okay. Now, the assessment will be term test 1 will be 25%, term test 2 will be 25%, final exam will be 50%. Now, every week you will have homework. I'm going to give you the solution of the homework at the same time. Okay. And I'm going to treat all of you like adults that you will go through your homework. You don't need to submit your homework, but you need to do that. Okay. I'm not going to monitor you. You decide to do. But it's important to do your homework, and I'll tell you why. Because the term test and final exam, all the term tests, final exam, 80% will be from homework. Okay, if you don't attempt your homework on your own, okay, then or if you don't attend your homework, then the possibility of passing term test 1, 2, or the exam will be very tough. Okay, so back to Kushi. Okay, what you have, there's no homework. There is homework. As I said, tomorrow I'll post the homework and the solution at the same time, and you have to attempt them on your own. Why I do that now? Because I realized last time a lot of students are using ChatGPT or solution manual to get the solution. The worst thing is to use ChatGPT, and yeah, it's not helping you all. Myself, I give you the solution and your self-study on your own, complete your own homework. Okay, and I sincerely hope that you all will keep up with the homework. Don't wait for week 4, then you start to do all the homework. Each homework will have about 7 to 10 questions. Okay, so I will pick from those homework any one of those questions. Are we clear? Any questions so far? Right. No, I don't hear anyone having any not talking, or you can type. As I say, I'm reading. Okay, I don't hear anything at all. What else? Yeah, that's all for the course outline. Okay. There is someone. No, you don't need to pass the exam to pass the course. Okay, but yeah, you don't need to do that, Andy. Okay. You based on the weightage 25, 25, and 50. In order to pass, basically you have to pass everything. Okay. I mean, if you do well in term test 1 and 2, you can fail term test 3. It's fine. Okay, Andy, you okay in that? Good. Okay. Anyone else? Any question? Right. Hearing none. Okay. If hearing none, let's go for it then. Okay. So today we're going to go into the introduction. Buckley. So buckling, the formula, I'll write down the formula first. Okay, in terms of buckling, what do we see in buckling? So the critical load before buckling will occur. And for this case, I will highlight not just buckling before centric. Okay, is we have our critical load is equal to pi squared EI over L squared. Okay, so to define this, okay, so P subscript CR. This is our critical load. What topics will be covered